Hey everybody, I am so excited about our sponsor for this month, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. It's the Gillot Home Team and Laura Gillot. How are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing wonderful.
That is so awesome. You know, the Gillot Home Team is doing so much in real estate. Give us a snapshot of what you're up to.
Awesome. Well, last year we were able to help 551 families either buy or sell real estate. We love our community. We love our clients. Our mission is to deliver the keys to home ownership through stellar customer service, integrity, and joy. And we're looking to help even more folks this year.
That is so awesome. You know, if you want a team that is there for you, it's the Gillot Home Team and Laura Gillot. And thanks so much, Laura, for your sponsorship. Ta-da! Here we are live with Russ and Scott on the Experience. How you doing, Scott?
Yeah, it's great, but it's hard to believe that it's the last show for April. The next time you join the Experience, it's going to be May. But it's been great to have Laura and her team supporting us, and I understand we get to continue to see them next month as well.
That's right. You know, they are such a great support, wonderful people looking to buy or sell a home. Want somebody who just loves and cares for people. It's Laura Gillot and her team. So grateful for that. And I am so grateful for you. Thank you, Scott, for all that you do. It's a pleasure to be on with you every week.
I tell you, Russ, it's having a friend like you and being able to do business as well. Life is great. So what do you have going on coming up this week and this month? What's going on in Russ's world?
Well, there is always great, exciting things happening besides my regular Monday, Thursday podcast, Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie, which both of our guests today, Raquel Muller and Rachel Druckenmiller, have been on. I also am getting ready to release my Befuddled Live the Life You Choose workbook. That's a companion workbook that goes along with that. So really excited about that. How about you?
Oh, that's going to be great. And you've been doing some teaching as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's been great. So what about you? What are you up to?
So, yeah, this is a busy week. Today, we're actually doing a virtual conference for a group out of the university. And tomorrow, for the webinar series for the virtual global tea break, we've got Alan Hennessy teaching how to master LinkedIn for business. And I know a lot of people think they already have LinkedIn, but like every one of the social media platforms, there's always updates. And
That's
so
right.
if you want to be at the top of the game, tune in tomorrow at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the webinar. You can go to globalteabreak.com and learn more. And then, of course, I'm also moderating the Business Builders Throwdown with Matt Rouse and Holly Jackson.
I love that. I love that show. That is so much fun. And
it is a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And I will definitely plan to be at Alan's. If I can say that,
up because it's going to be harder today because we've got Rachel and Raquel.
There you go.
And Rachel this morning. So
there you go. And you know, speaking of which, we should just get rolling, don't you think?
Let's do it. The time goes fast. So
I know. So we have Dr. Raquel Muller, mompreneur, success specialist. Is that right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Specialist. That is awesome.
How are you doing this morning, Raquel?
Oh, I'm pumped to be here. It's a great, beautiful morning, and I'm with two amazing gentlemen. So what else could a girl want?
Where are they?
Well, you know, I've had the pleasure of getting to know you, and you are a great friend in the time we have known each other. We have been able to not only work together and do some presenting together, but just really kind of sharpen each other. And we have a real similar mindset. So tell everybody all about Raquel and what you're up to.
Oh my. Okay. Well, in case you might be wondering, I am originally from Panama, and I was trained as a psychologist. And some years ago, after I started my business, I decided I really, really love the idea of coaching. So I started to pursue that as, the thing that brings me alive, my passion. And I love speaking as well, which is, also what provided the opportunity for us to meet, Russ, is when I came to do a speaking opportunity and you were there and invited me to come on your show. That was really, really exciting. I'm married. This coming month is going to be 23 years. So very, very proud of that.
Congratulations. Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Another prime number. We like that.
Yes, very nice. And I have two amazing kids who are 16 and 13. And, I live in Oregon. So here I am. And, with the Mompreneur Success Specialist, how that came about is I decided, I would love to support more working moms to find that balance that is so elusive, right? I mean, it's kind of one of those things that we're always striving for. We never quite get it perfect, but that's okay, because one of the things that I like to help moms with is battling perfectionism, even as I battle it in myself, right? So perfectionism, that whole super mom myth, I call it, that sometimes creates these unrealistic expectations. And in that, there is, of course, increased stress and pressure and just not feeling good enough. And I want more moms to really recognize the amazingness that they bring and the wonderful gifts that they give to their kids. And so that is how that came about. And in terms of what I have going on, I do have a beautiful community that I call the Redefining Supermom Facebook community. And that is where I provide inspiration, motivation, support, education for my mompreneurs and professional career moms as well. And then next week, I'm going to be doing a masterclass that I call How to Have It All as a Working Mom, 3 Steps to Co-Create with Universal Energy. So that's going to be super awesome. I'm really pumped about that coming up next week.
That's awesome. So I just have to ask you, how was it that you happened to choose psychology? And one of the reasons I ask is because I had a professor in college who admitted to the class that he chose psychology because it had multiple choice tests. I don't think that's your reason.
Okay.
You rendered her speechless, Scott.
It has always just stuck in my mind when he was up there in front of the class and said that. Anyway.
Wow. That's something. And he wasn't joking.
He was not joking.
Wow. That's amazing. No, well, the reason I chose psychology is, I always, when it was time to choose a career, right, getting ready to go to college, I was thinking, how can I make an impact? How can I make the world a better place? What can I contribute? And, I figured being a therapist would allow me to do that. And I also always felt like people found it easy to talk to me and open up to me. And so those were, a couple of the reasons that made me go in that direction. At one point, I did consider.
I knew it wasn't because it was multiple choice tests.
No. And I've always also been really fascinated with human beings, right? Like, why do people do the stuff that they do? Sometimes it doesn't seem to make sense, right. So it's very intriguing, human beings.
Yeah,
I think she nailed it.
And there's no operating manual.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's an ongoing mystery.
Raquel, I think you totally nailed it when you said, you just want to make a difference, help people. And the fact that you just love to talk to people and love to speak, and you are so easy to get to know. And speaking of great speakers and easy to get to know, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Rachel this morning. There she is, Rachel Druckenmiller. Hello. How are you doing this morning, Rachel?
I'm good. Let me unmute myself. Haha.
I was just going to say that there's a little bit of irony at the moment, but we're good now.
Yeah, I get that a lot because my company is called Unmuted, right? So a lot of people, or I say that to other people, right? Hey, unmute yourself. You're going to be in a session with me. You got to make sure you're unmuted. So,
Well, since you're unmuted, keep rolling and tell us all about Rachel.
okay. Well, what I do is I activate hope and connection and resilience in people and leaders and teams. I do this through keynote speaking and workshops and leadership training. And the main things that I think really touch my heart about the things people say about the work that I do is that it's refreshing, first and foremost. It's not just like throwing a bunch of jargon at people. It's relatable. It's real. It's not something they can just go and Google. It's like, if you can just go Google it and find a tip sheet, like, you don't need to bring me in to do that. And that people walk away feeling inspired and empowered to live differently, to think differently, to interact with people differently. And so, yeah, I've done over 150 virtual workshops, presentations, and keynotes in the past year, which has been kind of wild. But I absolutely love it. I'm loving the opportunity to just reach so many more people in a virtual space than you can if you're flying all around all the time. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been scary and stressful. I mean, COVID hit 7 months after I launched my business as a full-time speaker,
Wow.
which was 100% in person until March 17th of 2020.
Yeah, then it was 0%. Yeah.
So there's, and then 6 weeks later, I got hit by a pickup truck and fractured my back. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so to have the wins that I had last year in the midst of those two major setbacks, that's, again, it's one of the reasons why the past 5 years I've been speaking about resilience, but now I have a different perspective on it about from the last year in that journey.
Yeah. So when
you were
say,
definitely
I was going to say, when people say it feels like I was hit by a truck, you literally know.
Oh my goodness.
Really know. Yeah, would not 0 stars.
Sorry,
Would not recommend. Would not recommend.
Go ahead, Russ.
That's all right. Sorry about that. All of a sudden I realized, oh, hey, Scott's speaking. No, I was going to say that this is live, right? Whatever happens, happens. There you go. Rachel, you're just just such a dynamic and energizing person. And you take after your father. What's really interesting is when she and I first met, she goes, oh, yeah, you know my dad. And I'm like, I do? And she's like, yeah. So her dad is the unstucker. Michael is like, he is like so much fun. And he and I met, and he was actually on a couple things you were on, Scott, on my New Year's or Christmas special, whatever, and found out that Rachel is his daughter. And no wonder, they're both just really super fun people. I don't know if he can sing, though. And that's what we're going to do right now is put Rachel on the spot because she's good at this and have her sing us something fun.
Okay. All right. So one of the songs so I'm doing a keynote tomorrow about the power of social connectedness. And so I think especially in the past year, and as I think of the journey that I went through, one of the things that really helped buoy me and sustain me when I was literally knocked down and had trouble standing up on my own was a song that I think a lot of people will recognize. And so I'll do a little bit of a snippet of it here for you guys right now. Okay. All right. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. So I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. There we go.
Woo!
Yay! That was awesome.
So fabulous. Thank you.
I always just want to shout amen every time you sing.
That's right. And it just reemphasizes the fact that we are all in this together.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is so true. That is so true. That I think is one of the real key things that you bring, Rachel, is the uniqueness, right, of being able to use your voice and do all that. And that's what I love about you and Raquel both. You both have really unique perspectives to speak to people. Yeah.
Thanks.
And am I getting a little bit of an echo?
No, you're clear on this side.
Okay. Okay. Good. Anyway,
it's just inside there. Inside the cranium,
that is probably true. That's probably true. So,
yeah,
hey,
Goofy, that great American philosopher Goofy said, he was asked if you're crazy if you talk to yourself. And he said, no, only if you listen. Don't listen to yourself, Russ.
oh, brother. Well, speaking of listening, Raquel, I think that's one thing that you do so well with the moms. Tell us a little bit more about how you approach them and things that you're doing especially with your community.
My approach. Well, let's see. What can I tell you about it? I would say that I use a lot of what we call universal laws, right? One of the things that I teach about is the importance of gratitude and remembering that everything that we do, we're doing in co-creation with God, with the universe, with our creator, that we're never working alone. And as long as we're doing that, everything that we do impacts in a positive way the people around us. And so I have a system that I created called the woman system. I always talk about a mom being a woman first, by which I mean that we need to honor ourselves as human beings, first of all, so that we can bring our best. And so, talk about wielding our belief, right? Our belief in something bigger, our belief in the power that is inside us by virtue of working with that creative force. Self-care, so important. Self-love, and the M is mastering self-love and self-compassion, which I think a lot of times we're so critical of ourselves. And I think this is the antidote, is that we need to love ourselves. Look at ourselves through the eyes of God looking at us. And the A is all about activating your awesomeness, which, we all have gifts and we all have a purpose to fulfill on this earth. And we also need to have a vision of what it is that we're creating, because that gives us clarity in the actions that we're going to take. And not only that, but it allows us to create not only in one area of our life, but we're always creating results in all the different aspects of our lives. And that is what leads to a balanced life, right? Is when we are intentionally creating the relationships we desire and the kind of time freedom that we desire and the kind of health that we desire. So, and the kind of work and vocational fulfillment that we desire. And then the N is all about, which we were just talking about, right? Is the nurturing, uplifting relationships, surrounding ourselves with people who can lift us up, who can help us to grow and elicit those best qualities in ourselves, and also support in the sense of just practical support so that we can do all the things we need to do, because we're not able to do everything ourselves. We need to have people supporting us. So those are the things that I bring to the work that I do.
Yeah,
that's
I
wonderful.
think that,
I love just being able to focus in on who is the authentic you, and I see that in what you're teaching. My son's 18; he's getting ready to graduate in just a few weeks, and so for him, it's an interesting time of life. If you remember back to when you were ending high school and getting ready for, launching yourself into your future. And when I was at that point, we're having this discussion with my son. I told him, when I was graduating, I remember talking to a friend of mine that summer and saying, I'm going off to college. nobody knows who I am. I could be anybody I wanted to be. And my friend Wes Armstrong, goes, do you want to be different than who you are? And I said, no. And so, I think this is something that we need to understand is that we are great the way we are.
Amen. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and that's so true. And I think that's something Rachel really brings to the table too. And that is the authenticity and all that she's doing. Who do you mostly reach out to, Rachel, on your keynotes? What groups are you speaking to most of the time?
It varies. Associations. So associations may have like professional associations. So a lot of times in the accounting space, law, well-being and health and well-being organizations. I just spoke on Friday to a group of 750 leaders for a women's conference in the accounting space, and that went super well. I have so much fun, where I come in for company all hands. Like I'm reached out to, they're like, look, we need somebody to like inject a little bit of life and do it in a way.
World? Sure.
What's that?
Into the accounting world?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I work with accountants, engineers, a lot of like professional services people in the finance space. I come from the insurance background. I worked for a broker for 13 years before I went out on my own. So I can connect in a way with a like very technical highly left-brained oriented professional, because like that, I get that way of thinking. And then I can also infuse the human element in it without it coming off as being woo-woo, because frankly, those audiences are very skeptical. I even had a guy, it's funny. I was doing a workshop for an accounting firm. It was a 90-minute workshop. And we brought together their team, and they had about, 70 of the people in their firm show up out of like, it was about 70% of the firm that attended. And at the end of it, one of the guys raised his hand, probably his early 50s. He raised his hand to share, invite them to, contribute after they have their breakouts. And he said, so I got to be honest, like coming into this, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I thought you were going to be kind of like a happy-go-lucky yoga person. No offense. And that's not what this was. And I got so much more out of this than I thought I would. And I can't wait for the next one.
Wow. So
I get that a lot. People think I'm 25. And I'm like, well, thank you for that. But I will be 37 in 2 months. And I realize that is still young, but I've been working for 15 years. But it's like the assumption is that if someone has a lot of energy and is dynamic and has a vibrancy about how they like their countenance, that they must be super young because they haven't been jaded and totally crushed by work yet. And I think that's so sad to me. But it's one of the reasons I do what I do, is to really give people hope and activate a sense of aliveness in them, that people will leave feeling more alive as a result of having spent time with me. That is really the impact that I, aspire to make in the people that I get to do this work for. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is so awesome what you do. And you should count it a blessing that people think you're 25, because the older you get, the more you want them to think you're young. I have worked my entire life to overcome the myth that you have to be young to have energy, because I just have a little bit of energy. And so I try to overcome that. And I definitely do not look 25, unfortunately. So I wish, right? I feel 25 every now and then until I go work out, and then I come back and I'm like, wow, I do not feel 25. Anyway, hey, we need to start wrapping things up, believe it or not. But I want to start with you, Raquel, since we got you on here, to go ahead and let us know how people get in touch with you, because people are going to want to know more. How do they get in touch with Rachel?
Which one? Okay, with Rachel. Okay, sorry.
Raquel?
Like you said Raquel first. I was like, I'm still on the screen. Maybe I should.
Did I say Raquel? Sorry. There you go. The names are so similar.
Rachel. Oh, yeah, right.
It is the
Rachel,
same name. I lived in
Rachel.
Spain. I lived in Spain for a semester in college. So my name for 4 months was Raquel or Raquelita.
I warned you, Russ. I warned you. This is going to be a challenge to this morning.
Hilarious. Well, and our last names are very similar. So best way to contact me on my website is unmutedlife.com. I've got different podcast episodes I've been on there, blog posts I've written, more about my work and the workshops and trainings and whatnot that I do. And then I'm most active on LinkedIn. So I post every day on there. I post videos every week. I sing, all kinds of things with the goal of uplifting, refreshing, inspiring, and empowering people. And then I'm on Instagram at Unmuted Life, and I'm about to get onto TikTok. So we'll see how that goes, because even though I'm a millennial, I'm actually not on TikTok. But I have a coach I'm working with who's going to help me get myself together on there.
For leading the way on that, and just showing how important that is.
Yeah.
For sure. And she led the way on the lip sync contest in our friend Brian Schulman's show a couple weeks ago, doing the little promo for that, because of course, else would you talk to but Rachel, right? See, I got the name right that time. Now switching to Raquel, who I tried to put in there the first time. There we go. Raquel, how do people get in touch with you?
Oh, so people can get in touch with me through my website, themompreneur-success-specialist.com, or find me on Facebook. Probably the best would be my group. It's called Redefining Supermom.
Awesome. That is so great. Well, listen, I'll make sure and link to those things with both of you. And well, I can't even begin to tell you how much we appreciate you both being on. It's so much fun. You both have so much energy. You're so vibrant. And we really, really appreciate you coming on today and just spending time with us.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been really fun. And Rachel, we definitely have to get in contact. I know that we just met, but I'm already a fan. And I heard so much that really resonated with me. So, and thank you, Russ Scott. You guys are wonderful. It's been a pleasure.
You can do the joint TikToks. There you go.
There you go. That's it. Well, listen, I'm going to send you both just a reminder. StreamYard's having some issues with Facebook. So I'm not 100% sure that this actually broadcast on Facebook today. So drive everybody to YouTube, to the Experience YouTube, if they are having struggles with that for replay. So anyway, hang on. We'll send the two of you out. We'll talk to you in just a minute. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Wow.
Hey, we did good. You did good. Raquel and Rachel have worked out. Man, I tell you, so much inspiration and motivation today from our guests. And I just love what they're doing. And again, that we're great who we are, and we just need to understand that and accept it.
Absolutely. And that's what I appreciate so much about both of them. And Rachel just jogged my memory when I started talking about her dad. We've got to get her dad on the Experience. The Unstucker. Got to have the Unstucker on.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, hey, thanks so much, Scott, as always. Appreciate you. Don't forget, everybody, that we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time now. We are here broadcasting live. And then, of course, it sits on the platforms we broadcast on Facebook and YouTube, as long as Facebook is working. Still working to get that LinkedIn connection as far as live video.
LinkedIn.
So we'll
listen up.
Hello, LinkedIn. So anyway, we're working on that. But until we see you guys again, thanks, everybody. Have a great day and a great life. We'll see you.
Great to see you, Russ.